So today we're talking about box plots. So the box plots it is a graphical display of the 5-number summary, which we did yesterday. Okay, so the 5-number summary is you've got your minimum value, so there's 1. You've got your Q1, so that's your second value. Now the median, sometimes the median is referred to as Q2, but we like to call it the median. Q3 and the maximum. Now remember we said if you look, and what a box plot is a graphical display of that. Now you need to be really careful that when you're doing your box plots so that you get all your points, that you have a ruled number line under there. So you really must have a ruled number line. So you just copy your calculator. So it's got it all spaced out properly on your calculator, and we'll see that in a minute. When you do your box plot, you draw it. And once again, these things take a little time and there's a lot of things on it. So they're worth a lot of marks, and it's easy to get a lot of marks because you just copy your calculator. All right. So it's vital that you have a ruled number line because we do discuss like the shape of it. So if you look down here at the Australian cars and the European cars, we would see they have to be spaced out properly. So you can see here, and that's called a parallel box plot because there's 2 that are parallel to each other. So here, if I was looking at that, I can straight away see that Australian cars has a higher median because its median line is above. All right, so that's why you have to be able to see there, so the median line. We will also describe the shapes of the box plots, and unless they're ruled up onto a number line, you won't see it. So if you look at this one here, which we'll look later, this one is called positive skewed. So its shape is positive skewed shape. I'll write that. So I'm talking about this box plot here has a positive skewed shape. This the Australian car one actually has a symmetric shape. And symmetric shape because, can you see these 2 distances are about the same length? Yeah? When you have positive skewed, this one's a little one and that's the bigger box. So if you had negative skewed, maybe you just pop it in there. So you've got it. Negative skewed will look like this front box would be bigger and this little one there like that, okay? So that's the difference. So on the calculator, you're going to be we're going to practice one in a minute, but obviously you get given a list of values. So with the list of values, you would enter them into a listen spreadsheet. So you might want to write that there. So your list goes into listen spreadsheets. So what we were doing yesterday, and you give it a label. Make sure you label your list. So listen spreadsheets is that one there, that green one there. So then once you've done that, then we go to you go to a graph page. So remember the graph page is that one with the histogram picture. So you go to a graph page and then down here you select your list. So whatever you gave, whatever label list you gave, now it'll give you a dot plot automatically. So a dot plot shown. Okay, and then to change it, you're going to press menu, so it's got it there. Menu, plot type, and then pick the box plot, and it will show you. We did this yesterday a little bit because we looked to see if there was an outlier. All right, so let's go and practice this one on your calculator. So we are going to first go to lists and spreadsheets and enter this number in. So you can see here, I'm going to do that. So let's go do that. All right, so boys, when you go to draw up your own number line, so you're going to be seeing this on your calculator. So you can see this on your calculator, but you have to put something on your paper, obviously your test paper. So what you're going to do is you just get your ruler, and what you need to show, just do exactly like what they've done. So I'm going to say, all right, they're starting at 10. I'll draw a line. I'll go 10. I'm going to go 10 like that and just divide it up. Okay, and then you go draw your box plot. So we're going to say this first one is 10, and I draw my first dot. The next one is at 12, so I'll draw a line. Next one's at 16. 16. Next one's at 20. I probably should have gone in twos, I think. I'm going to change that. Yeah, so I'm going to change it to twos. So 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Okay, so we're going to type all these in. So it's at 21, which is there. 27, there. So you got to draw it up like that. And draw your lines. Okay. Alright, so we've drawn the number line. So down here is what you need to do. And you need to put your numbers above it. And that way you'll be covered. And even if your scaling's a little bit off, you've told them exactly what it is. So, and that's how you draw it. If you have a one with an outlier, so I'm just going to pretend there was an outlier. If there was an outlier, you draw it up there. You still need this little value there, and you'd have to say, all right, 32 is an outlier, and you'd have to draw that in as well, all right? Okay, so on this page anyway, I showed you how to the box plot with an outlier, which we just mentioned before. But be careful, you need to make sure you are, when you draw it out, so just to show what you need to draw, you need to have this number line. You'll need to, obviously, you still have to have the whiskers and all in. So you would draw all this, and you'd also need to put the little values above all of them on that. So you'd highlight it, what it is down here. All right, so down here I've done another example. So you've got, I would draw this number line, and I'd have that like this, and you draw all of that out like that. So yesterday we talked about the test for outliers. So here's those tests written out. So if I had to say the question was show that 12 is an outlier, what would I'd have to do this. So if we have to show this 12 is an outlier, is it an upper outlier or a lower outlier? Upper outlier, good. So I'll use the upper, I have to show the upper fence value, okay? So I'm gonna work that out, and remember upper fence is Q3 plus 1.5 times the IQR, okay? So in this example here, my Q3, I have measured it there, is 6.5 plus 1.5. Now the interquartile range is always the Q3 minus the Q1. So we would get a value, so it would be 6.5 plus, okay, so it's 6.5 plus 4.5, so it's 11. So your fence is at 11. Anything above 11 will become an outlier. So what you have to do, you have to, because you found that, you then have to say, you might say, therefore, 12 is greater than 11 and is an outlier, okay? So that's you justifying your thing. If it was a lower one, you'd show the lower fence.